kind of cheating. I'm not eating supper my first night, but I had to get out here. This place really brings back some memories. My first cast here 6 years ago produced a 50-inch pike. The water's down a little bit, but I'm sure they're still in here, and I just saw a horse eat something over here. I think he was after a blackbird or something. Oh, there he is, he got it. He hit it. Come on, come on. What a strike. Oh man, what a great strike. In about 6 inches of water. Come on, get the fish. Hey, this isn't a bad way to start my week at Nueltin. Not as big as a 50-incher, but that's going to happen later in the week. It's about 2 hours past supper time, so I think I better let him go and go feed me.
Every year, seasoned fishermen looking for the ultimate northern fishing experience head for Nueltin Lake, a 120-mile-long stretch of fresh water straddling the Canadian provinces of Manitoba and the Northwest Territories. Nueltin is Canada's original catch-and-release lake, in the forefront of Canada's conservation movement since 1979. Nueltin sportsmen use only barbless hooks and return their catch to the lake. That's why today Nueltin is home to some of the biggest pike and lake trout in the world, as well as trophy Arctic grayling. Nueltin anglers expect a first-class fishing experience with first-class accommodations, and that's why they come to Treeline Lodge. It's easy to find Treeline. Just catch a direct flight from Winnipeg aboard the lodge's comfortable 40-passenger aircraft, which takes you directly to their private landing strip. Owned and operated by Gary and Lois Girk, Treeline is the newest 5-star facility in the north and the takeoff point for a week of exciting fishing.
And the facilities here being 5-star are excellent. It's an easy place to come. You're out in the bush, but you've got all the amenities, great food, showers. It's a real comfortable place to be.
We have a satellite telephone. It's a direct line to Winnipeg. And then for outpost camp communication, we have SBX radios, and the people at the outpost camps call in every morning and every evening to let us know how the fishing was, how our guests are doing, that sort of thing. We've always been in the hospitality business. A lot of good comments about our guides, for one thing. Staff in general. Food and that sort of thing is very important too, but mostly, I think, organization. They like to get up bright and early in the morning and know that their guide's going to be down at the dock at 8 waiting on them.
Every Treeline guide is fluent in English, combining years of hands-on Nueltin experience with great fishing instincts. Each 12-week season begins with all new outboard motors, and every boat comes equipped with a fish locator.
Well, we love the North Country. As you can see, it's so pretty, and the fishing's great. The first week we were here, between my husband and I, we caught 11 trophy fish, meaning 20 pounds or over.
Gary and Lois live on Nueltin the entire season. Their lodge is a family-owned business where guests are treated like friends of the family.
We're treated well here. We enjoy it. There's good food, good clientele. We've never run across any problem clientele either. It's almost like they screen who gets to come here.
Girks pride themselves on the strength of the organization they bring to Treeline. Guests don't have to worry about the quality of the food, the lodging, or the guides. They can just concentrate on having a great fishing experience.
try to make it a family deal too, because my dad's up with us and 3 generations involved. And we've had brothers and brother-in-laws, and it's just a great time to be together.
Then we have 2 outpost camps as well, Nueltin Narrows and Windy River. Nueltin Narrows has 3 sleeping cabins and a main kitchen and showers. And then Windy River is 1 large building with the dining facilities in the center and the bedrooms on either end.
Well, today is the grand tour. We're going to go to Windy River, we're going to go to the Narrows, and we're going to go all the way up to the Seal Hole. Right now we're at the south end of Nueltin Lake, and we're going to jump in this thing they call an airplane, but I call it a time machine, and we're going to run the whole 120 miles of this incredible body of water. The reason I call this a time machine is there's at least 3 weeks differential between the southern end of the lake and the northern end of the lake, and you'll see just exactly what I mean.
Like Treeline Lodge, the 2 outpost camps can accommodate a select group of fishermen in spacious comfort with a capacity of 20 people at Treeline, 10 at Nueltin Narrows, and 10 at Windy River. So the service is always personal. Even the smallest detail is taken care of, not only at the main lodge, but in the outpost camps like Nueltin Narrows too.
We're at the Narrows camp. They call it an outpost camp. That's a ridiculous name. This is a mini camp is what it is. Bob and his wife Barb are here all the time. Barb does the cooking, and Bob makes sure that everything else is cool. And we just made it over the 60th parallel. I think we're about 35 miles from the main camp and in the most strategic position in the lake to really take advantage of both hemispheres. Yeah, that's what's interesting about the lake. It's so big that you can actually follow the shallow water fish in the spring, and when you get way up into the northern end of the lake, well, it's springtime all summer, yeah.
And then up here you'll still have ice in July, so that makes water it's fairly cool, so
Yes.
you don't really get the warm water like they do down here. The trees make it so much warmer.
Okay. Hey, the pike on Nueltin Lake, just like all other pike, love spoons. But when you're coming up to Nueltin, you'd be crazy if that's all you had to fish with. There are half a dozen bass baits that are going to quintuple the number of northerns that you can catch. And it's because they go through the environment where the northerns on Nueltin live better than the average spoons do. I'm going to give you a list of them, show you where to use them, and you make sure you bring them along.
Weedless spoons with pork rind like this Johnson are an absolute necessity. Use them where there's heavy cover and you have to fish subsurface. Minnow baits like this redfin cast well and can be used over rocky flats. Double buzzers are vital in shallow, heavy vegetation. Spinner baits, that's my mainstay. I use it when the water temps start to get towards 60 degrees. Jig and peg, probably the most effective lure there is for sight fishing them. Put it in front of them and jiggle it. Topwater spoon like a Moss Boss goes through stuff the double buzzer and the weedless spoon can't. Very exciting. Don't ever leave home without a Zara spook. It's going to produce some of your largest fish and most smashing topwater strikes.
And you know, both pike and lake trout are sucker for flies, too. Let me go through what you need for pike.
My day in, day out mainstay for pike is a giant white mega diver. When fish are in very, very shallow water, or they're real aggressive, I'll use a popper. And when they're in real, real heavy cover, I use a fly called a skipper.
Oh, it's got it. Oh, man. Oh, man. Woo! He's really tangled up back there. Come on, here we go. Come on. Oh, not a bad fish at all. This is a good one. What a strike. Oh, man. Oh. See more of you guys in the next few days. And also your friends, the trout. Oh man, I got a horse. Man, this is a big fish. I don't know how big, but it's a good one. Oh, they're so strong. And look at this animal. Oh man. What a gorilla. Oh, that's a nice big trout. Why don't you put the old tape on him here? He's, what, 42 inches by about 22 inches. What would that put him? 42 by 22.
26 pounds.
About 26-pound trout. This would be a world record on a fly, hands down. So I think we better quit fooling around. Pick up the fly rod. Oh, man. Oh, big trout. Tightened up on him, it felt like a rock. Carmen says 22, which would be a line class record.
I can't imagine the fishing being any better at Windy River than it was at the Narrows, but Norman knew of a little creek that came in that he says was going to be dynamite where we'll hit this Arctic sucker run right on the nose. But first, let's take a quick tour of the camp.
Well, this looks like the Windy River, and this must be Ron, and this must be Ramona.
Nice to meet you there, Larry.
Nice to meet you. Hi. Well, tell me a little bit about Windy, other than we're 29.49 miles from the Narrows.
Yeah, this is the northernmost camp that Nueltin has. We're just at the inlet of Windy River there, just about a half mile off to the west there. Good grayling, lake trout, and pike right here. the lake's 120 miles long, and we've got a pretty big operation here, so the second airplane just seemed to fit in. We were able to cover the north end of the lake, do a little bit of flyouts, and in case somebody had some health problems or something, it's just that much easier to get them out to the main lodge. We have 10 to 12 men staying here per week. Much the same as the Narrows camp, except here you just have one bunkhouse. The group get their own bedrooms and central kitchen and dining room. Ramona does all the cooking and cleaning, and the guys get the whole day to themselves out in the lake there. No guides, same as at the Narrows.
And you've been on the lake for 10 years?
Sure.
Got here is a trout pulling against me and the line in the current. Whoa, man. He's a good one, man. If you'd eat your breakfast, you'd be about 35 pounds. What you just ate is not going to make you get fat, let me guarantee you. I got one right. Oh, he took it, he's got it. Oh, man, look at this. 20-pound line here so I can yank on this stuff. Holy mackerel. Hey, look at this. There's another one with it. There's another one with it. Taking him on this. Oh, 2 of them. What's this? Oh, I got a little dinky one. There you go. Look at this. I mean, look at this. I've got one on a fly. I got one on a fly, and I got one on a bait casting rod. Look at this, folks. I mean, look at this. Dropped a knuckle knocker here. Nope, you can't have it. You're too small. Obviously, they really want these things. But you know, trout want a lot of things. But they always vary. It depends on what time of day, what time of season. When you come as far as Nueltin, you want to make sure you're totally prepared. Because if you're not, you can't really achieve the potential that this lake has to offer. I'm going to give you a list of different lures that you need to bring along to make sure that you catch the biggest and the most trout you've ever caught in your life.
Although the standard 5 of diamonds is great and catches a lot of fish, always have along some giant creature jigs like the Big Joe I'm using. Fantastic on comeback fish. Super large spoons, up to 12 inches long, sometimes turn the trick on giants. Another good trick are flatfish. Trout love them. And don't forget 4 to 6 ounce bell sinkers and 3-way swivels, just in case you have to drop some flutter spoons down a little bit deeper than you expected. I always get accused of bringing too much stuff, but I like to have an ultralight spinning setup with 4-pound line along, a medium spinning rod with 8 to 12, 2 bait casters, usually rigged with 20, and if I'm going to be fly fishing, I bring an 8 to 10 weight for the pike and trout and a 4 or 5 weight for the grayling. The last stop on our tour is the giant rapids where Nueltin pours into Seal Hole Lake. It's one of those magic spots where guests at Treeline can experience great fishing for monster trout year-round.
We're at the Seal Hole, and it's at the 60.48 parallel. Man, that's up in the North Country. We're at the far, far northern end of Nueltin Lake. It's so cold up here and so stable that the lake trout they're shallow all year long. They're available to you in shallow water up here all the time.
With fishing like this, you can bet I'll be back to Nueltin, and maybe I'll see you here too at Treeline Lodge. Call Lois and Gary right now at this number and make your reservation for the coming season.